Hello, Shenandoah. This is Dr. Robinson, Superintendent of Schools. It's May, and May means budget vote. And so I would like to take a few minutes to remind you that our school budget vote is on May 16th. The polls open at 7 a.m. and close at 9 p.m. in the Gowanna Middle School gymnasium. And this year, trying to make some safety adjustments, we will be using a separate entrance or different entrance into the polling place. Signs will be there. We're pretty clear and obvious in terms of how you enter the polling place. And we're trying to basically minimize the amount of outside traffic that goes into the school when students are transitioning in the hallways. Clearly, we will continue to address handicap accessibility and things of that nature. So we encourage people to come out and vote on May 16th. Again, May 16th, 7 a.m. the polls open, close at 9 p.m. I want to spend a few minutes just to highlight the four things that you as voters will be asked to act on. The first is our school budget. And the school budget, yes, in many cases, it's about the numbers, but in reality, the school budget is a planning process. It's an opportunity for us to really look at what we have done, what we're doing, as well as what we want to do into the future. So the school budget takes a multi-year lens, if you will, when we look at in terms of our capacity, our financial capacity, but more importantly, look at our program needs. And in this year, we're looking at everything from addressing the continue to address COVID learning loss implications. We're looking to continue to address social emotional needs of our students. We're looking to enhance some capacity in programs in terms of be it modified sports or musical theater at the middle school. We're looking to enhance our capacity in terms of supporting some of our youngest learners in terms of special education capacity at the preschool, at the kindergarten level, in terms of kids coming out of preschool, coming into our system. We also then looking at how do we look at ensuring and bolstering the academic capacity for some of our struggling students. And so this budget is really one that looks A through Z. Everything about us as a system, we spend the time over the last 4 or 5 months really analyzing and scrutinizing and coming up with a budget that, again, addresses our various needs. We also take into consideration what's the tax implication. And this year is very unique for us. This past year, there was a court case was passed that essentially said that the state of New York needs to fund the formula, which is called a foundation aid formula, to full capacity, allow the formula to run. And believe it or not, for Shenandoah, we were not being fully funded. And so for the 22-23 school year, the current year that we're in, it was the first year of that step for the state to fully fund it. And so the 23-24 is the second year. So we're seeing some sizable or notable, if you will, increase in state aid. That has allowed us to increase our budget, and the budget percentage is slightly higher than in the past. It's at 6.3. However, while it's 6.3, the tax implication is very similar to the past, very flatline. And so let me give you an example what I mean by flatline tax implication. So the town of Clifton Park, just using that for an example, recognizing that we have other municipalities that makes up the school district, the tax rate per thousand, what taxpayers pay on their particular house or business, was $31.72 this current year. We're looking at a tax rate per thousand of $31.95. So very, very minimal impact, very increase, if you will, on the taxpayers. And that's by design. We develop budgets to ensure that we have consistency and predictability, and we develop budget that we can sustain it over the years. And so we're pleased with this budget that's being proposed as we move forward in terms of program enhancements, as well as the implications or the flatline implications for our voters. The second proposition is electric buses, transportation. As a school system, we have 217 buses, of which about 207 go out every morning transporting students. Over the course of a school year, we go about 2.2 million miles. That's a lot of mileage in terms of our buses. So we have a pretty comprehensive bus replacement process. So part of this referendum is to replace 5 of those gasoline buses, because we need to continue to replace those and to ensure that our fleet is at a point where we're never concerned about the safety of students on our buses. Secondly, we're also dipping our toes into electric buses. For those of you who may not know, the state of New York has a law that basically says by 2035, all buses, school buses, must be electric buses. And starting in 2027, we need to only purchase electric buses. So this referendum is a dip of our toe into that, trying to figure out what it's like to own a electric bus. What's the maintenance on it? How do we schedule in terms of routes? What's the implication in terms of drivers? All those things we need to know before we invest fully in moving towards the electrification of buses. And so this is a great opportunity for us to really have hands-on experience with those buses as we move forward. So that's the second referendum. And again, a good portion of that cost will be offset by building aid. And so we're looking to, again, try to minimize the impact on our taxpayers. The third referendum is the renovation of the 5 Maxwell Drive property. And that's a property that was donated by Don Green and family. And we're pretty excited about that because that property gives us so much more capacity to address things such as full day K, to some potential use for pre-K, the centralization of district operations, a lot of great things that we can do as we grow into that property into the future. As well as it opens capacity within existing buildings. And so every time we move something out of a building to go into that building, that's space that's freed up in existing buildings. And some of you may wonder, well, our enrollment isn't growing as fast, Dr. Robinson. However, I must tell you, as a school community, we are very vibrant. There are many, many developments going in. And the piece that I always have to think about is what's the implication 3, 4, 5, 10 years down the road? And we know space is a premium. Space is something we're always going to need, be it because of enrollment or be it because of additional program needs, such as additional special education needs or additional E&L needs or additional academic supports needs. And so we know we have to continue to address and build capacity forward. So this project has many dimensions to it. So again, that's why that donation from the Green family was very timely and again, positioned us for continued prosperity as a system. The fourth piece of this referendum is in the Board of Education, and strong governance is important. I'm so fortunate that since I've been here for the past almost 18 years now, we've had a great team of board members, very supportive board members who often and almost always, to be quite frank with you, act in the best interest of our students. And so with great governance and great leadership, I think that's also a component of why we are a solid school system as well. And so this year, ironically, we have 2 incumbents running, Naomi Hoffman and Gustin Miller, and both are running unopposed. So with all that being said, on May 16th, I'm asking people to come out and vote. I can't tell you how to vote, yes, no, otherwise, but I'm encouraging you to come out and vote. This is an important decision for the school system, and I hope you as voters, as taxpayers, see the opportunity to come out and vote, and I will see you at the polls on May 16th. Again, polls open at 7, close at 9 p.m. in the Gowanus Middle School. So thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all at the polls. Thank you.